Hi, it's Sarah with Loaves and Dishes, and in today's video, I am going to be showing you how to make this one pan chicken and potatoes bake. That's what I'm calling it. Okay, so we're going to do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, and that is we're going to start by making what's called a compound butter. A compound butter is a fancy way of saying you mix some herbs and aromatics in with some butter, and we'll use it in a little bit. So I'm using some garlic, I'm using some dried chives. Wow, say that 3 times fast. Dried parsley, some salt, pepper, and some garlic in this. The great thing about this, as with most of my recipes, is that you can add whatever you like. If you wanted to add some more seasonings, if you wanted to use fresh herbs, you could. Thyme, rosemary, all of those things. Tarragon would be great in this. You want to mix that up really well. I cut a lot of it out because there was no point in keeping that in. You don't need to see me mix up butter. You want to make sure your butter's room temperature. You want to mix it up really well so that everything is well incorporated, and then set it to the side. We'll use it in a little bit. Now, I have a bag of yellow potatoes. I'm just cutting those up into bite-sized pieces. They need to be about 1 inch big. They're going to go under the chicken. They're going to be roasting in the oven for as long as the chicken is, okay? So you want to keep them a little bit bigger. Otherwise, if you cut them too small, they're just going to fall. They're going to disintegrate in the oven, basically. And I'm cutting up some shallots. You could do onion. I had a shallot, and I just sliced it because what's going to happen is we're going to put the chicken on top of this. All of the fat is then going to drip down onto the potatoes and the shallots, and it's going to fry these potatoes and shallots in fat. And I thought if I leave the shallots thin and stringy like this, not stringy, that's not a good word, thin like this, they're going to get crispy, and it's going to be like a crispy shallot. Okay, great. There was some olive oil in the pan, some salt and pepper, and some garlic. Set that aside. Now, I have whole chicken leg quarters, I think is what they're called. Skin on, bone in. That's really important because if you're going to use, I did add chicken breast to this just so that we had a little bit more meat, and they cooked up just fine, but it's not going to be the same, okay, as adding skin on. And this is why. I'm just taking my fingers. I separated the skin from the chicken with my fingers, and I'm taking that compound butter and I'm putting it under the skin. The other thing that you saw me do was I dried off the chicken really well. That's really important. If you don't dry off your chicken, the skin will not get crispy. Okay, if you put butter under the skin and on top of the skin, like I'm going to do in a minute, the skin will crisp up nicely in the chicken, and this nicely in the oven. And this is how you get really, really great, moist chicken with crispy skin in the oven. Also, adding this compound butter under the skin helps trap the herbs and things under the skin so that there's more flavor. This is a great way to make this. And it's like elevated dinner, but really this was not a lot of work, right? There's not a bunch of seasoning and stuff. It took me about 20 minutes to prep all of this stuff. And then you just put it in the oven. You can do this with chicken. You could do this with turkey. So maybe for Thanksgiving, if you're having a small get together and you don't want to cook a whole turkey, but you still want to have turkey, you could absolutely do this with turkey legs. Anyway, so I'm just taking my chicken and I am setting it on top of the potatoes, and then I'm adding a little bit of salt and pepper to the top. You got to put salt and pepper on it. You might be thinking to yourself, we've salted at every stage. It really hasn't been that much salt, I promise, and you're not going to be eating all of the salt at one time. So I baked that in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour, and this is what it looked like when it came out. This was delicious. If you want to see more recipes, be sure to check out Loaves and Dishes, and thanks for watching. Bye.